All right, guys, welcome back. So, hope you're doing good. I got a lot to go over. Things in the Sebastian Rogers case, investigation, whatever you want to call it. A lot of stuff is going on, and that's what I want to talk about. Okay, so Sebastian Rogers has been missing now for weeks. Chris Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot. I know they've been under, the microscope of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, TBI, FBI, Secret Service. Several people have been under the microscope of law enforcement. And that's just because of the investigation, monitoring phone calls, monitoring where they're going. Just basically a lot of monitoring and, just checking up and doing things, that may have happened, right before Sebastian went missing, digging up conversations on phones, computers, whatever. It's just a fluid and thorough investigation. But what's going on now is you've got Chris Proudfoot going really, really quiet. He's been told not to do any more interviews, period, by law enforcement. We figured out now that, according to the news, it's going around that it's a criminal investigation now, which, in my opinion, I believe it was a criminal investigation weeks ago based off the way police were acting. The Proudfoots have been really quiet and supposedly told not to do any more interviews. And if you ask me what happened, I'm thinking that maybe Chris Proudfoot even went to take a polygraph test and showed deception. And like I said, at that point, the police are going to pounce on him like they did Chris Watts. And it wasn't very long after that, not very long at all, that they discovered Shanann in the kids' bodies. I guess Chris broke down and told them where he put them, and what happened and everything like that. All right after the polygraph test that they gave Chris Watts. So, did Chris Proudfoot finally give them a polygraph test, and he failed, and they pounced on him. They pounced on him hard. Now that's one scenario. Another scenario is that they ran into some information, possibly evidence, maybe a combination of both, and they wanted to question Chris about it. Chris may have gotten upset with them, and whatever the case, I think there was there's some friction now between maybe the Proudfoots, Chris and Katie. I'm going to say especially Chris, and law enforcement. And if Chris has told law enforcement, hey, I'm not saying nothing else without an attorney, maybe he's shut down, invoked his Fifth Amendment, his right to remain silent. In the heat of everything, if this is what happened, now I'm just saying if this is what happened, because I've seen this happen. In the heat of everything, if Chris says, hey, I'm not talking no more without an attorney, I'm invoking my right to remain silent from here on out, you guys can kick rocks. Well, the police may have come back to him and said, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, You know, you've done plenty of damage to yourself already. I wouldn't be doing any more interviews if I was you. And it was at that moment he knew he screwed up. And now we're at the point where I think Chris knows that an arrest may be coming soon. I feel like an arrest is coming soon. I feel like there's a lot of friction now between Chris and possibly Katie and the police. And I think the police, law enforcement's, I think they've had enough of them. I think they've had, they're done with it. Based off the information that law enforcement has, and between that and them wanting to get answers on that, from Chris and maybe Katie, and Chris and Katie now shutting down on them, I really think it's pissed off law enforcement, and law enforcement's just like, you know what? All right, bud, if that's the way you want to play it, we can go that route too. But I wouldn't be doing any more interviews. I wouldn't be saying shit if I was you. And I think Chris and Katie are really, really scared now. I don't know if their house is paid for. Here's how I see this moving forward, guys. And mark my words. Mark my words on this. We'll see how this plays out. I think they may put the house up for sale. I think they just recently moved into it not too long ago. They'll probably put the house up for sale. If they are in trouble in this whole mess with Sebastian Rogers, they'll put the house up for sale, sell the house, and use that money to hire a criminal defense attorney. That's exactly how I see this playing out. So mark my words. If this is the route everything's going, and Chris and Katie are staying out there in that RV, they were staying out, number one, they were probably staying out there for their safety, right? And number two, they were also probably thinking ahead, and if everything, doesn't work out for them, they're going to need a criminal defense attorney. How are we going to pay for that? Well, we could sell the house, live in the RV. See what I'm saying, guys? And that's also the reason why police wanted everything done the right way, is because, if Chris and Katie hire a criminal defense attorney, that criminal defense attorney is going to, he's going to do his job. I'll just say that. He's going to do his job. And it could be troubling for the prosecutor, because that's what criminal defense attorneys do. That's their job. They want to make it as hard for the prosecutor to get the conviction in court. It's their job, it's what they get paid to do. It worked for OJ, the dream team. But no, seriously, if they sell their house, I think that would be enough money, probably to hire a decent criminal defense attorney. And then, you just have to go from there. We'll have to see what evidence the police have. They're on to something, guys. They're on to something. There's just something going on in this whole atmosphere. You got Chris coming out weeks ago saying, you know, I'm very open to social media interviews, you know, talking about what all's been going on, you know, just on Nancy Grace right recently. And it just, now, nothing. He's been, you know, supposedly the police have told him not to do any more interviews. I think they had a falling out. I think Chris and law enforcement's had a falling out, and police just basically told him, I wouldn't be doing any more interviews if I was you, bud, because we're coming after you. And I think Chris is like, oh shit. You know, it's at this moment he knew he fucked up. So what we'll do, guys, is we'll just, you know, pay attention. Like I said, we're in a holding pattern until something breaks or something, you know, critical happens. And I think Chris being told supposedly not to do any more interviews with police, which you know, they probably did tell him that, but it was probably, you know, due to a heated exchange. I think that's a critical thing to talk about in the investigation. It wouldn't surprise me if charges come down the line. If someone's arrested soon, it wouldn't surprise me if the charge was suspicion of murder, unless they have something stronger. Now, if they do have something stronger, then they'll just be flat out murder charges. But if it's not quite where they want it to be right now, I see charges being brought and people arrested on suspicion of murder. That's just my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see how this plays out, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Appreciate you for tuning in. And like I said, we'll just pay attention to this whole thing. I know you guys like what I think, my input on everything, the way I think about stuff. I appreciate that. And you know, we'll just keep monitoring it, and we'll go from there. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you on the next video.